So another question we got was about the fitting thing. It's about the fitting culture. I don't know whether you know the cultural difference between mainland China and Taiwan, although we speak the same language.
I know there's a difference, but I don't know
Yes.
enough about the subtleties.
This guy actually worked for a Taiwanese company, and then he didn't get any job that made, and he didn't find it fun at all. So after 2 months probation time, he didn't get the internship. And that's basically his situation. He has to go find another job. It's about fitting the culture. So looking back, if at the beginning, as a new employee, I don't feel that I'm fitting this culture, but I do want to try to adapt or adjust. What advice would you give to people in that situation?
So I would say, in general, as human beings, we all want to be liked.
Yes.
And so in that case, those people that have hired him,
Right.
they want to be liked too.
In the beginning, when they hired him,
Yeah.
they had a click. They were talking about the movies or the books and all those kind of things. So in the beginning, it's going well, but then after 2 months, it's changed.
So I'll tell you the advice that I give to
Right.
international students that come here that
Okay.
say, I want to fit into the American culture. I
Yes.
want to fit in with my fellow students and even get jobs.
Right.
And I always give them this piece of advice. Be curious about the people that you're with. Just be
Yes.
curious.
Yes, that's really...
So ask them questions that you're
Very
genuinely
helpful.
interested in. So you might talk to someone who's a local and you might say, I'm new. Can you tell me what are your favorite restaurants?
So what if in that specific question, I don't find the joke funny? So should I ask, like, why do you find it funny? Would it make them feel like it's so boring because I was happy and then suddenly you come up with this out of nowhere question and my mood was not so happy anymore? Would it be something like that?
I think you could. I think you could ask that if you did it in a very light way. Like if you said, if you did it with a smile, said,
Okay.
I don't, help me understand.
Yeah.
But if you ask them very serious and say, I don't find that funny at all.
Okay. Got it.
Because again, as human beings, we all want acceptance.
Right.
And so inadvertently, he or she might not have been communicating those signals that they accepted the people telling the jokes.
Right.
So when those people got to make the decision,
Yeah.
they said, well, they don't like us, so we're going to find someone else.
Okay.
But the way that you communicate you like somebody is by asking them questions about themselves.
True. Yeah.
Curious about them. And when you stop asking, people assume you don't like them anymore. Yeah.
Got it. So it's very important, especially at the beginning. You are not only learning about your job, but also about the whole company and the employees in that company. So asking questions can really help for them to know that you're interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all different kinds of questions. They can be just work-related questions
Right.
if you feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
You could say, well, how long have you been here? Well, tell me about the changes you've seen here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you brought up a really good point because I was thinking in that situation, those are Taiwanese people who founded the company. But on the other hand, because they founded the company in mainland China, so as a new employee, him or herself, actually she can share about her knowledge about mainland China with them as well, which would be helpful
Absolutely.
for them. Yeah.
And they will often reciprocate
Right.
when they're asked a question first. So for example, if I said, Ying, tell me about your weekend. What did you do? Well, tell me about your weekend.
And then I'll ask you.
How was your weekend, right? And
Yeah.
so, but you have to be the first to ask the question
Right,
if you want them
Yeah,
to come back to you.
Yeah.
One of those fundamental principles about human needs is the only way you get your needs met
It's by giving out.
is giving it to others.
I see. Okay.
So if she is waiting to, or he is waiting to be asked questions,
Right.
it'll never happen. It'll only happen when they ask questions first and it comes back.
Right. So it's a double work basically at the beginning.
Yes.
It's a full-time job on working and then full-time job
It is,
on
but
knowing the people.
but they
making
can
friends.
be the same thing,
Right.
because you can ask questions like, what kind of changes have you seen around here?
Right.
What has been the most difficult obstacle for the company over the last 5 years? What have you struggled with the most personally?
Right.
What are you most pleased with?
Right.
You learn about values, you learn about the individual, but you
Yeah.
also learn a lot about the company. It helps you function better.
Right.
So there's ways to do both.
Navigating better. Yeah, to know. Okay. Yes. Good.
Excellent.